Fuck that, nigga. If we go to prison for the rest of our life, whoop-de-doo. We go to prison, nigga.
Peace, family. What's good? I wanted to talk a little bit about this Young Thug interview situation. I don't really want to talk about the whole situation, you know what I'm saying? Because really, I don't even have the words for all of the shit that we seeing as far as that whole story is concerned. But it's one thing I was just thinking about that from it. A lot of people are clowning the part when he was talking about, yeah, man, if we got to go to prison for the rest of our life, whoop-de-doo. And a lot of people making memes and clowning that part of the conversation. And I was just leaving the gym, and scrolling through my phone on the way out the gym, and I saw a clip of somebody clowning that part of the conversation, and I thought about something, and I'm like, yo, I used to have that kind of mentality when I was about 13, 14, 15 years old. Around that time, if you asked me, if I was concerned about going to prison for the rest of my life, that was my mentality at that time. Whoop de doo. Oh well, it's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? That's that. I looked at that as almost being a part of my destiny at that time. Why? Because growing up in an environment where I'm a child in the 80s. Now at 13, 14, 15 years old, you're still a child. You know what I'm saying? But when you grow up in certain environments, at that age, you don't really feel like a child anymore. You know what I'm saying? But when I say I was a child in the 80s, meaning I was a small child in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so by the time I'm 13, 14, 15 years old, it's the early 90s and all of that. And most of the older people that I know, that I looked up to growing up in the 80s was all wiped out. Most of them were in prison. Some of them were dead. A lot of them were strung out on drugs. And so, at that point, that environment, that neighborhood that I grew up in, that was the entire world to me. That was all that I knew. You know what I'm saying? So all the men that I knew, that I looked up to, that looked like me, their fate and their destiny is what I saw as being my own. I didn't see too many other options. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, at some point, this is going to happen to me. You know what I'm saying? I never been outside of my neighborhood. I never traveled nowhere and saw anything else, and knew that there was a whole nother world out there, and there were other options, and there were other avenues that you could take. You know what I'm saying? So my whole mindset was confined to this environment and my limited knowledge and my limited information that I knew about myself. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, at that time, my mentality, I'm out here doing shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here taking penitentiary chances at an early age and all of that. And if somebody try to talk to me, some older person or whatever, my mom's or whoever, try to talk to me about my behavior and, making better decisions for myself and trying to warn me about the consequences and all of that, that was exactly my mentality at that time. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, so I might go to prison for the rest of my life. Okay, whoop-de-fucking-do. At that point, I didn't know nothing else. I didn't really have nothing to live for. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no children of my own. I didn't have nothing that was that important to me that, made my life so valuable that it was worth thinking about those consequences. Like, okay, that's the worst that could happen. Okay, what's so different than what I see every day when I come out my door? You know what I'm saying? All of the desperation and the destitute environment that I'm living in. How bad can prison be compared to this? So at that time, it didn't make a difference to me. Whoop de fucking do. You know what I'm saying? But here, this is a 34-year-old man, Young Thug. This is a 34-year-old man who has traveled the world, made millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? He might come from that type of environment, but he has enough life experience now and enough success under his belt now where he's seen and experienced other things, and he should know that there's more to life. That life is valuable. He has children. You know what I'm saying? He should know that that's not all there is to life, and that's not a whoop-de-doo type of thing. That's not a big deal. You do got a lot to lose. You know what I'm saying? Your life is more valuable than just throwing it away like that. You know what I'm saying? He's at a point in life where he should know that, but he still has a mentality of a 13, 14-year-old kid who grew up, whose confined, not even grew up, but who's confined to the hood and to that type of environment where he doesn't feel like his life has value? Why does he still have that type of mentality at this age, number one, at his level of success, number two, at his life experience, number three? That's the thing that baffles me about that shit right there. It's like, dude, I had that mentality. I don't even have that mentality now as a grown man, and I haven't seen as much of the world as he's seen. I haven't seen the level of success that he's seen, but I've grown to, you know what I'm saying, have enough experience to be able to value my own life. You know what I'm saying? And I've already dealt with certain consequences in my life and been through certain things, but I've also come in contact with, you know, people from different walks of life who haven't gone through what I've gone through, who were able to show me that there's other avenues, there's other opportunities. You know what I'm saying? That life does have value. You know what I'm saying? Also reading books and different things like that that take your mind elsewhere, that enable you to see things beyond your own reality. You know what I'm saying? And so that shit just baffles me, man. That's all I wanted to say, man. This is a quick video just to express that thought real quick, man. That's all I really had to say, man. Leave your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about Young Thug at his age, with his level of success and life experience under his belt, still having the same mentality as a 13, 14-year-old kid who never been outside of the projects?
Fuck that,
You know what I'm
nigga.
saying?
If we go to
Leave your
prison
thoughts
for the
in the
rest of our life,
comments.
whoop-de-doo.